Thank you. This is a fabulous event, and I'm so happy to be here. And I thought I'd start out today's presentation with a little bit about my childhood and about me, so you have a little bit of a context. I was adopted at the age of 5, and I had a wonderful, adventurous, innovative childhood. And I was, by the way, this is the wrong slide. This is the middle of my presentation. Just FYI, but I'll continue. So I had a very, very adventurous childhood. If I could describe my childhood in a phrase, it would be fighting pirates in the summers and fighting snow monsters in the winters. And my parents were very supportive of that. They always made sure to encourage anything that I wanted to create or do. In fact, my parents' basement has many of the scars of all my inventions, creations, and different ideas that I tried throughout my teen years. So that's a little bit about my childhood. Moving into the future a little bit, I graduated college and I really decided, you know what, I want to pursue being an entrepreneur. Being an entrepreneur is the ability to take an idea, create it, and bring it to market, and that's really what I love to do. So I needed some mentorship. And mentorship, because I've never done this before, so I need some help, some ideas, some support as I go on this great journey. So I reached out to the different resources in the Tampa Bay area, and I came upon the Founder Institute, which was basically it originated in San Francisco, and it was founded by Adeo Resi, and it is a founder entrepreneur kind of mentoring program. It's very specific to entrepreneurs, very specific to mentoring the person, not necessarily the idea or company. So I hooked up with them and I applied and I got accepted. And as a part of that, you got to pitch Adeo Resi himself, which is the founder and CEO. He's a big-time Silicon Valley investor, venture capitalist, entrepreneur. Recently founded thefunded.com, which is an entrepreneurial resource for finding out what venture capitalists are good at what they do and which ones are bad. So it's a great resource. Currently, he's doing the Founder Institute as kind of a legacy project, what he wants to bring to the startup world. So I got the opportunity to pitch him. And this is kind of how it went. It went a little bit differently than what I thought it was going to go. I was really nervous, so I practiced all night. I went over my pitch, and mind you, my pitch is only 3 minutes long, so it was a long night. So it was fun. It was engaging, and I was ready. I felt I was prepared to bring my idea to Adeo, a big-time Silicon Valley investor, entrepreneur, and venture capitalist. I thought I was ready. I was all the way driving there. I was practicing over and over in the car. People were looking at me strangely as they were passing me because I was very expressive and going over what my idea was, and they were like, well, shouldn't you be paying attention to driving? You know, that was the drive-in. So I get there, and a gentleman before me was pitching his idea, and I heard a little bit about the interaction after he was pitching. And Adeo really started ripping into this guy about his idea. And I was like, wow, he did not prepare to pitch Adeo. I am prepared. I have practiced all night. I know when I pitch him my idea, he is going to write me a check for $1 million right here, right now. So the gentleman before me gets done. I go in there and I say, hello, Adeo. My name is Derek. I am founding a company named Derecor to create a self-powered washer and dryer. And he goes and says, okay, what's your pitch? And I said, it's going to create a more energy-friendly, environmentally friendly laundering resource for families to use. And it's going to do that by the washer powering the dryer during the washer cycle and the dryer powering the washer during the dry cycle. And they're going to recharge each other, an energy loop basically. I finished my pitch. Adeo leaned back and says, you know, that's the worst idea I've ever heard. And this was crushing. Because this here is Adeo, a big-time Silicon Valley entrepreneur, investor, and venture capitalist. I was pissed. I got to tell you, I was really mad. And I almost didn't hear anything else he said for the next 20 minutes as he told me exactly what was wrong with my idea, why it would never work, and why I should just go to a different idea. And it was a humbling experience. So I drove back to work, and I was, it was the type of anger where you were shaking. And I drove back, and there was an event later that night that we were going to that Adeo was hosting to introduce the 2013 class of the Founder Institute. I thought about not going because I was so pissed at what he said to me. But I ended up going, and afterwards, Adeo came up to me and said, I want to explain to you what I meant. It wasn't necessarily the idea that was bad. It was the fact that it'll never work as a startup idea. First of all, he was guessing that it would take $20 million at least to manufacture the first 1,000 units of the idea I was talking about. And the current venture capital market would never, ever give that much money to a startup if they were only going to make 1,000 units after $20 million. So you need to come up with an idea that is relatively easy to do and use venture capital to scale that idea. That's what you need to do. So I went back to the drawing board. Said to myself, what ideas do I have in my many books of things I jotted down over the years that I could use as a startup idea, something that was easy, I could just scale. And when I say easy, I mean incredibly hard, just not as hard as manufacturing a brand new technology. So I decided to do something with parental control because I heard that my parents were concerned about it. My friends that have young children now are like, I don't know what I'm going to do when my kid starts watching TV, they have a smartphone, whatever. I don't know what I'm going to do because I don't know what they are doing. And so I decided to do a little research, and I found that 24% of teenagers between the ages of 12 and 18 currently have a smartphone. Conversely, I found that 54% of teens between the ages of 12 and 18 don't. They have what I consider a dumb phone. And that is a phone you can't access YouTube, Facebook, download apps, things like that. But being an entrepreneur, you have to extend statistics into the future because that's where you're going to be working with. So I predict that 54% that only have a dumb phone today are going to flip over to the smartphone column and make a 78% percentage of people between the ages of 12 and 18 having a smartphone. Now, because I am, I don't want to overstate a statistic, I'm going to put a little risk margin in there, and I'm going to take 18 percentage points off that and make it 60%. So 60% in 2017 are going to have a smartphone. Is this even really an issue? How much do kids really use the internet or watch TV? So I did some more research. I found that 7.5 hours a day are spent by kids between the ages of 12 and 18 consuming media. This is interacting with Facebook, YouTube, watching television, reading blogs, posting online, whatever. 7.5 hours. That equals 52.5 hours per week. That's more than the average full-time job. So we're talking about a lot of time spent interacting with media and really no solution allowing parents to analyze, monitor, and control what their kids are doing. Because currently, the market for parental control products is very, very wide, and they come in all shapes, sizes, colors. They all have different options. Some of them are not good, some of them are bad, and there's no way of knowing. So there's a real problem. So I want to create an aggregator of those options so parents will be able to go onto my service and pick whatever options they need, whether it be an option for an iPhone, desktop computer, tablet, whatever, and control it by a revolutionary UI. That's what I want to create, and that's the project I'm working on. But to do that, I need an infrastructure that's capable of supporting that kind of idea. So, aggregator and revolutionary idea. So what I need is an infrastructure, and this is a company. This takes the form of a company, and a company is made or broken by the culture. And so there's three things that I think make a great culture in a company, and that is focus on consumer experience. You want to focus on what your customers experience in that first 5 minutes they use your product, because that's really the max amount of time you have for them to like your product, decide to use it in the future, decide to recommend it to their friends, various other things. So 5 minutes. So you need to make that 5 minutes the best as possible and extend that for the life of the product. I noticed this as an example with, I just recently bought a MacBook Pro. And I got it from Best Buy, I got it in the car, I drove home, and I started opening, and I noticed from the very get-go that this experience of opening the box was easy, user-friendly, setting up the laptop was easy and user-friendly. It was all easy. I had my laptop set up and out of the box in 5 minutes. That's how much time Apple spent looking at the experience that their customers are having. So the next thing is the long term. Companies are not faulted for this, but they generally tend to look at the short-term profitability of what they're doing, and that's understandable. A company's main purpose is to be profitable, but I want to take the look of, I will sacrifice some profits today, maintain profitability of course, but sacrifice some profits today to invest in the long-term future. So that could take anything from product development, new services to offer my customers, great employee benefits, whatever. The third thing is employees. Employees are the most important resource a company has on this earth. Whether you're a manufacturing company, whether you're just a media company, or whether you're a service business, employees are the most important resource you have. So you need to combine all this, these 3 points, into a great culture. And you will have great employees, great customer experiences, and an awesome long-term vision. So I've kind of laid out my idea of where I want to start as an entrepreneur and the kind of company I want to build. Many of you may think, I have an idea that I've been thinking about building a company around. I'm just not exactly sure how to do it. I encourage you to do this. Google your idea and put startup after it and see what comes up. You'll either find someone that's already doing your idea and in which you have found your co-founder, or a company you can join, or you have found someone that invests in that type of idea or provides resources for people doing those type of things. So I encourage you to do that. A lot of times, there's a lot of focus on the idea in entrepreneurship, but really the idea is nothing. The idea means absolutely nothing. It's all about execution. There is nothing to an idea unless you execute properly and well. So I found the execution is all about who you are. So I leave you today with one simple question. In your ideas, in your passions, always think of this and ask yourself this question: who are you?